November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving, Portland International Airport, Oregon. A Northwest Orient Airlines flight prepares to depart for Seattle. 36 passengers board the aircraft. Flight attendants prepare the cabin. The pilot runs his pre-flight checks. Everything is completely ordinary, except for one man sitting in seat 18C. He bought his ticket with cash. He gave his name as Dan Cooper, and he had a plan that would baffle the FBI for over 50 years. Dan Cooper was unremarkable in every way. Medium height, medium build, dark suit, black tie. He looked like a businessman coming home for the holidays. He ordered a bourbon and soda, paid for it, tipped politely. Then, shortly after takeoff, he leaned over and handed a note to the flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. Florence assumed it was a phone number. Men sometimes did that. She slipped it into her pocket without reading it. Cooper leaned toward her calmly. "Miss," he said quietly, "you should read that note." Florence opened it, and her face went pale. The note said he had a bomb. Florence sat down beside him as instructed. Her hands were shaking. Cooper opened his briefcase slightly. Inside, she could see red cylinders, wires, and what appeared to be a battery. Whether it was real or not, Florence had no way of knowing. Cooper had 4 demands: $200,000 in cash, used $20 bills, 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve, a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane on arrival in Seattle, and a guarantee that no harm would come to any passenger or crew member. He was calm throughout, almost polite. "I do not want anyone to be hurt," he told Florence. "Do as I ask and everybody goes home safe." Florence relayed his demands to the cockpit. The pilot contacted Seattle Air Traffic Control. The FBI was called immediately. For 2 hours, the Boeing 727 circled above Seattle. On the ground, the FBI moved fast. $200,000 was gathered from a Seattle bank. Every single bill was photographed and the serial numbers recorded. 4 parachutes were located. The money was bundled into a bag. Everything was delivered to the plane when it landed. The passengers were allowed to disembark. They had no idea what had happened aboard their flight. The crew refueled the aircraft, and then Cooper made his next demand. "We fly to Mexico City," he told the pilot. "Low altitude, slow speed, flaps partially lowered, cabin unpressurized." The pilot explained they would need to refuel again along the way. Cooper agreed. Reno, Nevada would be the stop. The plane took off again, into the dark and the rain, this time with only the crew on board, and one man with $200,000 and 4 parachutes. Somewhere over the dark forests of southwestern Washington state, Cooper made his move. He ordered the crew to remain in the cockpit. He tied the money bag securely around his body. He strapped on one of the parachutes, and he lowered the rear air stair of the Boeing 727. The Boeing 727 was one of the only commercial aircraft in the world with a rear staircase that could be opened in flight. Cooper knew that, a detail that told investigators he was not an ordinary man. Cold air and rain blasted into the cabin. At approximately 8:13 p.m., the crew felt a change in pressure at the rear of the aircraft. The pilot checked the instruments, then called back to the cabin. No answer. He sent the flight attendant to check. She walked to the back of the plane. The rear staircase was open. Cooper was gone. He jumped somewhere over the Cascade Mountains into a pitch-black November night in a rainstorm, wearing a business suit and street shoes, with $200,000 strapped to his body. At an altitude of approximately 10,000 feet, the temperature outside the aircraft was -7 degrees Celsius. Below him was nothing but hundreds of miles of dark, dense forest, rivers, and mountains. No one saw him land, no one heard him land, and despite one of the largest manhunts in American history, no one ever found him. The FBI launched an immediate and massive search. Over the following weeks, hundreds of agents combed through the wilderness of southwestern Washington. They found nothing. No parachute, no clothing, no body, no trace. The serial numbers of every bill were circulated to banks across the country. Nothing turned up. Investigators analyzed Cooper's behavior obsessively, looking for clues. He knew the aircraft. He understood parachutes. He requested a specific type of plane configuration that only someone with aviation or military knowledge would know. He was calm throughout the entire hijacking, not nervous, not erratic, trained, methodical, controlled. But who was he? Nobody knew. And that question would haunt the FBI for the next 5 decades. 9 years later, on February 10, 1980, A boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand on the banks of the Columbia River. His family was on a picnic. He pulled out a rotting bundle of bills, $20 bills. His father checked the serial numbers. They matched. 3 packets of Cooper's ransom money, totaling $5,800, had been found partially buried in the riverbank. The FBI returned to the river, but the money only deepened the mystery. The bills were degraded in a way inconsistent with simply being buried. They appeared to have traveled through water for some time before settling there. Had Cooper drowned in the Columbia River? Had he survived and spent the money elsewhere and this was the remainder? Had someone else found the money and disposed of part of it? The river gave them the bills. It gave them nothing else. In the 50 years since the hijacking, more than 800 suspects have been investigated. Every single one was either cleared or died before charges could be brought. The FBI officially suspended active investigation of the case in July 2016 after 45 years. The case remains the only unsolved commercial aircraft hijacking in American aviation history. Cooper became a strange kind of legend, a folk hero in the Pacific Northwest. Bars named after him, T-shirts, Halloween costumes, an entire annual festival in the town of Ariel, Washington, where locals gather every year to celebrate the man who outsmarted everyone and vanished. The FBI never celebrated him, but America, in its complicated way, quietly did. So what happened to D.B. Cooper? Did he survive the jump and disappear into a new identity, spending the rest of his life quietly somewhere in America? Did he die in those dark forests, his body and his parachute long since consumed by the wilderness? Did he land in the Columbia River and drown, the money washing downstream to where that boy found it 9 years later? Nobody knows. Not the FBI, not the airline, not the hundreds of investigators who spent decades on this case. On a rainy November night in 1971, a man in a dark suit and black tie stepped off the back of a Boeing 727 at 10,000 feet. He took $200,000 with him. He took his identity with him. He took his secrets with him. And somewhere in the dark forests of the Pacific Northwest, or at the bottom of a cold river, or in a quiet house in a town where nobody asked questions, D.B. Cooper vanished completely, as if he had never existed at all.